My dad is willing to kill me. I was 7 years old. When I don't behave well, I'm like not important at all. Like, I can die.
Someone touched my buttock. I was very young. Nobody did anything. My own insecurity that I feel like I need to look beautiful to be loved.
We have inherited from our parents our baggages and traumas.
He still asks me questions like, do you love me? I'm like, what the shit you're talking about?
So you could be doing what you feel you are obligated to do as a wife's duty. I don't actually feel it.
If a man does not put food on the table, then this man is useless and not loved.
I let that affect my identity and my self-worth. I cannot perform in work means that I'm a useless person.
Just a warped understanding of love.
Okay, so welcome back to today, another episode of our relationship podcast. We're doing this again because we have a bunch of questions that's coming in. We'd just like to address them as well as talk about a main topic for today, which is vision for marriage. Like one of the key things that, you know, when I speak to my friends who are married, and whenever I bring up the topic of having a vision for their marriage, they would usually look quite shocked. Like, huh? You mean like a marriage need to have a vision? And I think today we just want to spend some time talking about that. And why I think personally, or why we think that having a vision for marriage, right, it's really important to the happiness of our marriage and, you know, where we are going in our marriage. Just like how every business, if you have a business and you don't have vision, right, or mission for your business, right, the business will collapse. The business will be non-existent. And so how much more a marriage? Yeah, there is not just a piece of paper that we come together, but like, what are you achieving together, or what are you looking forward together that is not possible when you're just alone? Yeah. So maybe you can start off like, why do you think a vision for a marriage is important?
If you ever watch our previous videos where we talk about how we work together in the business and how we actually run our marriage, like how we run the business, I guess that's where it all started. It's kind of like a guiding star that every year when we come together again for anniversary and we talk about, okay, let's have a review of the past year, right? Have we been living how we have envisioned ourselves or our marriage or where our marriage is going? So I guess that's what is important. It just keeps us grounded in a way and not lose sight of what are we actually here for. And because if we have a shared vision, if we do come into any situation of what we need to handle in terms of like issues or solving a problem in our marriage, we know that these are the questions we will ask ourselves.
And I mean, it's just my own personal opinion, right? I think if two person come together and get married, shouldn't just be out of like comfort, out of like, oh, because we have dated for many years, so you know, it's just time to get married for a purpose. And a marriage should have a purpose. So our vision for our marriage is that we want to break generational curse. We want to break boundaries and inherit whatever, all that Christ has bought for us, all that Christ has paid for our marriage and for our lives. So for example, we are still learning every single day, right? What Christ has actually bought for us. His blood has bought for us, because like, for example, marriage, right? We don't have to be alone because Christ died alone, right? Whatever that he suffered for is to redeem us from the curse of the law. And because he died alone, we don't have to die alone, right? Marriage is ordained by God. I mean, that's for relationship. There's also like, you know, finances part of things, purpose, working. Like right now, I'm still learning how to enjoy working rather than working because I have to, but rather learning how to enjoy work because work is a blessing from God, right? He actually asked us to work for our fulfillment, for our enjoyment. So these are some of the things that we're still learning, right? But the key is breaking boundaries and breaking generational curses. Yeah. Things that we have, baggages and traumas that we have inherited from our parents, we do not want to pass it down to our kids. And that's really one of our main vision for our marriage. Yeah, and to be a shining light for Christ as we live our life. So maybe like one of the questions that was asked is like, how do we both act as a light to the world and a mirror that reflects God's character? So the thing about this question is that I didn't really like how the question is being asked, because it's how do we act as both a light to the world? I think for us, we just try to live our life. We're not perfect people. We are still figuring things out. We be as real as possible, you know, off camera and on camera. I think yesterday I have a friend of mine who actually told me something I thought was very wise advice. He's a content creator and he does a lot of Christian content. And there's a lot of content creators, right, who on screen, they are one person, off screen, they are another person. Okay? So they're not really authentic. They're not really real. I think for us, right, I don't try to differently on camera versus off camera. What he said was that he will not do anything on camera that he wouldn't do off camera. Yeah, so I thought that was very good advice. So I think for us, we're just living our life. Yeah, we're just living our life, we're still figuring things out. But I think more importantly is at least for myself, I have continued to have a walk with God. Yeah, I will walk with the Lord, and He's teaching us every day. Yeah, more and more about Him. And I think by doing that, we will just naturally live out a life where we will reflect His character. Not that we'll not make a mistake, but even when we make a mistake, right, there will be a certain courage, for example, to own up the mistake and continue to be real with one another. What do you think about it?
I agree with what your friend said about don't do things online that won't do it offline. I think that is something that I've been struggling myself for the past maybe 3 to 4 years. We used to have couple Instagram account, right, that we run together, which is called a Lifestyle XP. Some of you might have followed us. I did want to dabble into like the field of influencers or like just build my own Instagram account. And I started by doing TikTok dances, posting pictures of myself. But as time goes on...
And you did quite well actually initially, right? You managed to get quite a number of views in the early days.
Yeah. Not as much as views that is like going out around right now, because that time was like TikTok just started. It was a very, very early phase which is actually Douyin, not even TikTok. And then I just suddenly stopped. And I have no idea why I stopped. Until maybe earlier or later last year or earlier this year that I found my answer as to why I actually stopped my content. I felt I didn't want to be known as someone who does TikTok dances. I'm not even like very pretty to compare with like a lot of influencers, right? So like, then where do I stand? I started asking myself that. And I don't want to stand in between any of this. I don't want to be in that fight. You know what I mean? And it was only this year, I think we started going into like some relationship content. And I feel like this is where I want to go. I want to not just sharing like good times. I want to actually start opening up my life, sharing struggles, what I go through, insecurities, whatever that is, and just sharing journey so that people will know that, hey, like they are not alone. And there always could be a better way to marriage, for example, to raising up kids, to a relationship. Yeah. I feel like, which is going back to what you said just now, when we just be ourselves, because when we are too perfect, right, that's when it gets a bit too unreal, because nobody is perfect. And if we are too perfect, we cannot be a mirror to another person, which is actually the second part of this statement, right? How do we act as both a light to the world and a mirror that reflects God's character? And that for someone to relate to us, I feel like it's not just on the good part, but also on the lows as well. As we continue to do that, we will just, not like we have to act as a light, but we can't help it that if we go through journeys involving God in our lives, God will shine. When God shines, we will shine with Him, because we are actually called. God is usually described as the light. Yeah, and we are usually the vessels. So we're just the lamp. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, maybe like another question, follow-up question, please. Like, why are we doing content? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing all this interview and all this content? Why do you think we're doing it?
At least based on our conversation, and also going back to our vision and mission statement, right, that we are doing content because we just want to share how our life has been, and our life has been transformed ever since we first met each other, the things that we have to go through, and until now that we are married and we have 2 kids and we're planning to have more, is that we didn't want maybe letting people see, like what I said, letting people see that there is another side of the story that can always happen. Yeah, and not what the social norms or what our parents have passed down to us be the foundation.
Give me any examples?
An example I can think of right off my head is when we have kids, the marriage will just become like a everyday mundane thing. Yeah, because I that's how I see my parents raise me up. I have never really seen like romance in their interaction, and my mom's daily job is just to make sure that the kids are good. So all the energy and mind is poured into that. And when my dad comes home, my mom's duty is to make sure that he's fed. It feels like a obligation. Not that it is not, because we are under a covenant of marriage, right? that we take care of each other. Yeah, but it's just no longer romantic. I don't remember seeing them hug or kiss each other. Yeah, so it becomes like just a family thing. When I say family, it's like
Just a duty.
yeah, like a brother and sister. Yeah, so that's definitely one of it. And how family don't need to have good relationship. I think it's kind of linked.
And then what did that teach you about love?
That as long as I do my duty, I love you.
As long as you do your duty,
Correct.
who love you? You love who?
That means I'm loving you already. That means, for example, father will say, I already bring home the money, right? How do you say that I do not love you? What else do you want? Then my mom probably, not saying my mom, but like moms will just say like, I already feed you, right? I spend all my time on you.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
I already spend my time to cook for you,
Correct.
take
Yeah.
care of you. Yeah.
What do you mean by I don't love you? Yeah. So then it's just a warped understanding of love.
So then what is love to you?
I mean, for me, that's how I feel like I have shown my love to you. At the very start of the relationship, for me, it's like if I take good care of you, feed you, I make sure that your basic needs are met. I'm really telling you that I love you. Yeah. But when time goes on, I realize that he still asks me questions like, "Do you love me?" I'm like, "The you're talking about? Do you not see that I wake up early? I send the kids to school. I do this, do that. I don't disturb you. I give you all the space you need. What do you mean by I don't love you?" Yeah, but your definition of love is not like that. Yeah. So I guess there's like a mismatch of expectation that I had to relearn again what is actually love. Doesn't just mean all these like basic needs. Yeah, the basic needs will come after the love. Or sometimes you actually also tell me that I don't need you to do all these things for me. Yeah, I just want a certain actions from you. That's how I feel love. Yeah, even if you don't cook for me, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's how we actually got to.
Yeah.
I have never really cooked at home. Yeah, we kind of just solved this issue of cooking by having a helper.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't want to fight over whether we're going to do our houseworks and who's going to do it. Yeah, so we solve it by having a helper. Right? Yeah, and just focus on the things that both of us really want and enjoy each other for.
I think there are few layers to this, right? The first one is talking about how sometimes people see love as a duty. Yeah, like what you mentioned about your parents, your father and your mom. To them, it's just a duty, right? This means that I love you. But I think love is more than that. It's more than just a duty. It's doing something that makes someone feel love, and not just like out of obligation, out of a sense of duty, and about how each of us receive love differently. Right. So I think there's this is a common topic that people talk about, five love language, which you also have a different view on that. But I think that gives majority of the world a very good base of like, what do you mean by love language? Everyone has a slightly different love language. Your love language is touch.
Touch.
Right? And my love language is words of affirmation and quality time. So that's why to me it's like, if you are busy and you are cooking and you're taking care of the kids, but you're not spending any quality time with me, or there's no words of affirmation, which is why a lot of times I have to ask you, do you love me, right? Because I need to hear the words. And so you could be doing what you feel you are obligated to do as a wife's duty, but because it is not my love language, I don't actually feel it. Yeah, so I think same thing for me, right? The duty of a man, or at least in a traditional Asian family, right? Like your dad, is we just put food on the table, right? That's how we were taught since we were young. For myself, I was taught by my father also that as a man, my duty is just put food on the table. So if I put food on the table, that means I've done what I've supposed to do, right? What else do you want from me? A marriage is more than that. It's more than just a duty. There is emotional commitment, there's mental commitment, the commitment to love one another, to how we want to be loved.
Just now you were talking about how your dad put food on the table, and if he does that, it means his job is done, right? And I feel like that is something that actually I didn't like that. Not just because like, hey, our father put food on the table, didn't give us love. I didn't like that because I suddenly saw that it's actually a way of how the society or the devil is trying to kind of cheat us into it in a way that if a man does not put food on the table, then this man is useless and he becomes not valuable and not loved. Yeah, which is not true. Yeah. Because for me, even if you don't put food on the table, it doesn't matter to me. What matters most is you are here with us and we like go through things together. Yeah. But when there is a label of man needs to put food and give money to the family and it's just that, then there's only one thing like man is holding or clinging to for their worth in family and in a marriage.
I just want to clarify. So you said that it doesn't matter if I put food on the table. If a man cannot put food on the table and a man cannot provide, then wouldn't that man not be an attractive man in the first place, right? Because we cannot even fulfill. I think maybe what you were trying to say is not that you didn't care if I put food on the table. Is that putting food on the table is actually supposed to be a minimum. But we made it a core. We made it like it's the most important thing. But it's just a minimum. Yeah, which is just food on the table. But more importantly is I am emotionally connected with you, emotionally connected with the kids. I'm present, and all that things are more important. Is that what you're trying to say?
You are right that putting food on the table is one of the minimum core. But even if you ask me right now in our stage of marriage, I guess putting food on the table, that is, I still wouldn't say to me it's the minimum requirement. Yes, whether it's attractive or not, it could be, but there's also a period of time where we're struggling, right? But I felt that did not matter as much because I feel like to put food on the table is something that both of us can be a part of. Yeah. Doesn't mean like the man has to do it. Yeah, I actually like the notion of like building something with you together, or working together with you in that journey of putting food onto the table. I mean, yeah, if you are financially able, I guess that is just one of the piece to feel secure to marry to someone. Yeah, but there are also a lot of stories where the man doesn't have money, but women still willing to stick through things with that man because he saw something in him that is just beyond money.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the fruits has to eventually show for. There must be something to show for, isn't it?
Correct. Which
Because if the man is just being lazy and not putting food on the table,
correct.
right?
Which that is why that cannot be the core. Because if you are just only after money and you don't have the rest of the characteristics or the ability to like connect in a relationship, then having money is also useless. You know what I mean?
Why do you think so?
Because at the end of the day, I speak for myself. At the end of the day, I am looking for a relationship. If I just have money, I mean, you can have all the money and we don't have a relationship, then I am just as good as not married. I feel there's nobody that is sharing my struggles, going through things together with me. I feel like that's what I treasure in a marriage, that whether it's our highs and lows, we share it together and we bear it together and we win together and we celebrate together. Yeah, and if then I might as well be alone. Yeah, it's just me alone with children that I have to raise myself and with money to spend. Yeah, I guess relationship. I think that's what's important.
I remember there was a time that I was working, or in a way, like I think I was stressed out at work. I was very, very busy. I was working a lot and I wasn't like connected with you or connected with the kids. And again, these are like all the old programming from young, from how I saw my parents or how the world has taught me that my value comes from just the ability to provide. And so there was a period of time that I was just very busy with work and I wasn't connected, and I kind of used that as an excuse, in a certain way, that I'm tired and I'm tired because, I'm working because I'm providing, therefore I cannot be connected to you or the kids, right? I think you reminded me that when you first got together with me, it wasn't really because of the money. And it was because...
I think when I got together, you did have some money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you stuck with me when I lost all my money. Why?
Yeah, so what you said just now, right? You were asking, isn't it the bare minimum for a man to be able to provide? Yeah, so that was what was attractive also, because seeing that you could actually provide. Yeah, because you had some money when I was dating you. When it comes to the point whereby when you lost money, you lost things that you have in your life. For me, I already fell in love with you. It was not the money that I was looking at, because through that period of time, I saw who you are. And I feel like you are someone that I wanted to protect. Yeah, I wanted to protect you. And that is why even when you're going through that difficult times, I want to make sure that like I do not leave you for a heartbreak. I think that's how I felt. Yeah, that's why like I wanted to be with you. I want to start with you through it and just like get out of it together. I think it was out of protection.
Protect. Why protect?
I have no idea. I think like I felt like you're very precious to me, and I didn't want you to get hurt. So yeah, so I think I was taking on a protection. I was trying to minimize as much pain as I can for you through that period.
Is that how you were taught to love? That if you love someone, you protect this person?
I don't remember. I don't remember any trace of protection. I think because maybe I myself, I lack. I feel like I lack the protection of people who love me. And so I naturally want to do that for the people I love.
Tell me more about it. What do you mean by you lack protection?
I mean, I grew up pretty much alone. I think at like 7 or 8 years old, I'm really pretty much alone because my dad is out at work. My mom is not staying with me. Yeah, I was pretty independent by then already. Perhaps there was this one day, I forgot how old I was, but I was a little bit older. I was just at NTUC, and I was just paying for things that I'm buying over the counter. And I felt someone actually touch me. Yeah, someone touched my buttock. I was very young back then. I didn't know how to react. I thought it was an accident. Maybe because like too many people were squeezing through, you know. But when I turned around, the NTUC is very quiet. There was just the auntie and the cashier and me over the counter. And I didn't know how to react because I have never been taught about this. It's my first time experiencing it. I just keep looking because I saw that guy walked out behind me. And then the auntie was
How
like...
old were you?
I don't know, maybe primary 3 or primary 4.
And you were out alone?
Yes. Yeah, because I'm pretty much alone. Yeah, and I just keep looking at that guy. Then the auntie is like, what happened? Auntie over the counter. I say, 我不知道. I think he touched me. Then the auntie also don't know what to do. You know, and there was just nothing. So then I'm left very perplexed, and nobody did anything. I just left NTUC and go home. And I cannot stop thinking about it. My mom is not with me in Singapore. My dad is not home because he has to work. There's literally no one. And then when I called my mom and tell her what happened, there's nothing much she can do because she's not here physically. And I kind of remember she just say like, I don't know, I think my memory is quite blurred at this moment regarding this.
Yeah.
But it's just something like, there's nothing we can do. Like, kind of like forget about it. Yeah. So I think from then on, I became very vigilant of things happening around me. I'm very aware of how people around me are acting. When they get too close or suspicious, I will just have that knowing that they are trying to do something. Yeah. And that's how I've been growing up, I guess. And I think because maybe a part of me that I didn't want people to go through the same thing, then I just became like very protective. I watch out for people a lot because I scared that they don't see what is coming ahead for them. Yeah, I think I just don't want them to be like the people that I protect to be like me. Yeah, at that point of time.
And that's partly because you grew up in a family where your parents are much not around. And it's not really their fault, right? Because they're working.
Correct.
Your mom is also not around. She is in Malaysia.
Right.
And I think coming back to the story I was telling earlier was that what you were telling me about, because I was working, I was very busy, right? So then I kind of like, our kids were still young, but we were almost like falling back into like what our parents era, which is that they are always very busy and they have no time for us. And they have no time to even protect us sometimes. And we have to learn ourselves. Yeah. So like, just like you, I've been going out about on my own, 70 years old, and handle a couple of traumas myself, not knowing anyone to talk to. And you said that, you didn't marry me because of money. And that you married me because we were going to be alive together. I think I was just paraphrasing you, right? You were going to be alive together. I'm just busy and I'm bringing home the money and I'm not present with the kids, right, then everything else doesn't matter. Yeah, I think I remember that very well, and that made me realize that the reason of why I'm very busy is really just an excuse. Yeah, because I didn't know how to connect with the kids because I never grew up with that kind of relationship, and that's part of that like generational trauma or curse, right, that we don't want our kids to have. Like of course not that we shelter our kids and protect them from everything because they have to go through some things, but at least when they go through any of this, we are there for them, right? We can teach them how to handle situations, or like how to handle like in your case when someone intruded your privacy and touch you, how we can actually protect our daughters from that, or how can we teach our daughter what to do in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if let's say there is no relationship involved, I mean, I'm just thinking about the divorce cases and how women are willing to leave the husband is usually largely, I think, because there is no longer any relationship. And if there is no relationship, I feel, at least for me, it's very easy to just leave the relationship. Because even have money, I mean, unless I come into the relationship looking for money, if not, then even if you have money, there will be nothing holding me back, to still stay in the relationship.
Is there any other traumas, baggages that you felt that we have brought into the relationship at the beginning of our relationship?
What about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it still goes back to like my self-worth. My self-worth of being a man, and what does it really mean? And that, if love by performance rather than love by receiving. I mean, that's something that even until today I still deal a lot. I'm still dealing with that with God, with the Lord, because the whole idea of like the gospel and Christianity is that when we believe in Christ, we now have a new identity in Christ. And when we're new identity in Christ, right, we are no longer loved because of our performance, but because of what Christ has done. And we just simply receive the love. And actually, I realized that applies to every area of my life. That actually, a lot of my area of my life, right, it's all about performance. Yeah, like performing in work. Like if I feel like I'm not performing well in work, and sometimes that happens, right? Like we run marketing campaigns all the time, and sometimes when a marketing campaign doesn't do well, I let that affect my identity and my self-worth. Like, if I cannot perform in work, means that I'm a useless person. That's performance based, right? It's very performance mindset. Maybe our finances, when our finances is not doing well, maybe we lost money in investment, or our business is not doing well, then because again it's a performance mindset, then I don't deserve love at home, and our children, shouldn't love me because I am not doing my duty as a husband or as a father. A lot of performance based mindset. Sometimes find it hard to believe that I am loved because I'm God's son. I'm loved because I'm your husband, and the kids love me because I'm their father. Yeah, not just because I can provide, and not just because of like the performance. Yeah, so I think that for me as a man, that's always the hardest thing I have to deal with, which is a performance-based mindset.
What do you think was an incident that you remember most clearly that probably contributed to this?
I still don't really know if this is the real incident, but the trauma that I've always been telling you, one of the biggest trauma was how my dad would beat me. My behavior as a kid is that I'm a good boy. Like if I do good, then I'm a good boy, right? If not, I'm a bad boy. So it's very performance based. I remember I was 7. I mean, this story I told you before. I mean, just being a kid, I was just being a boy, and I was starting to show like signs of like so-called rebellion, right? I didn't want to listen to my parents and all that. I think every kid goes through that. And, of course, there's a debate whether you should beat your kids or not. But I think my dad's way of punishing me, right, and beating me is a bit too extreme. And I think one of the trauma that I cannot, I still have a difficulty getting over was when I was 7 years old. So I remember that back then my parents bought for me this Game Boy, right? Back then there's this, I was playing Game Boy, this Pokemon. I was playing a lot. I'm a gamer, and I really love games, so I play a lot. And then I didn't want to like stop playing. So then my dad, right, I forgot what exactly happened, but was that he asked me to stop playing. Then I didn't want to stop. So then he got like fed up and angry, right? Then he beat me. The beating is okay. I think like I was so used to the beating already. But he, for whatever reason, I think was something like my mom wanted to take that Game Boy away from me. So then by impulse, right, I wanted to like hit my mom. I was 7, right? So I recall back then also, I couldn't control myself. Now I think about it, because sometimes I'll see my kids do the same thing. Like they will impulsively want to like hit us, and then we will get angry. But then I'll remember this moment that it's because we are still developing, our brain is still developing, their brain is still developing, and they just cannot control themselves. Again, not to justify, right? I mean, there should be some punishment to correct their behavior. I still recall that I couldn't control myself. I was going to give my mom the Game Boy. The part of me wanted to give her the Game Boy. But then another part of me just like, I don't want, so I wanted to reach my hand, like just like slap her hand away. So then my dad, right, got so angry, right, he blew up. And then he stuffed a pillow onto my face. And he stuffed a pillow onto my face, and he was pressing me onto the sofa, and he was suffocating me. And I recall that like I thought I was almost gonna die, because I was suffocating, and I wasn't able to draw my breath. And he finally lifted up. I forgot how long it was. It was definitely very terrible. And then when he lifted up, right, I still remember it was a light color pillow, like white color. So by the time he lifted up, right, there was blood stain, because he pressed on my face so hard that my gum started bleeding. That's why I remember there was blood stain. Yeah, and I remember that I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was gonna die. I mean, again, I deserve to be punished in a way. I don't think I should be deserved to be punished that way. My mom didn't do anything. My mom was just like sitting there, one corner. I think maybe that lesson has taught me that like my value is based on my behavior. That when I behave well, my parents love me. But when I don't behave well, I'm like not important at all. Like I can die. Yeah, and my mom wouldn't even care. And my dad is the one that is gonna almost murder me. I think ever since that moment, I've never remembered a happy memory my dad ever since. Yeah, and that was when I was 7 years old. Yeah. Before that, I still remember there were moments where I played with my dad, and I was very happy with him. And sometimes the memory will still come up. After this moment, after I was 7 years old, yeah, I think there was just something that, of course, back then I was only 7. Like I think it just taught me that I was not important. That my value is based on my performance. Yeah, and then my dad is willing to kill me. That's how unimportant I am. Yeah, and from there onwards, I never had a memory with my dad ever since. A happy memory with him.
Do you see this baggage actually showing up in our marriage, or in the way that we interacted with the kids? Maybe not behavior, but like traces of this trauma.
I think that's why, like I was saying, that my performance mindset, right, leads me to sometimes run away from relationships. Yeah, because it's still based on my performance. So of course, when things are all well, right, business making money, we just made $1 million, I feel great about myself. I feel like, hey, you know what? I've done well. Look at my performance, right? And now I'm super valuable, right? But the moment that's why to me it's so much about that performance-wise. Like that's why it hit me so hard whenever our business not doing well. Like it's amplified, because that performance, that poor performance at work would then suddenly make me feel like I'm a worthless person. And because I'm a worthless person, I don't deserve that love. And so yeah, I mean it's funny like how like I think only very recently that I learned that our kids love us. Our kids love me. Yeah, they will come in the morning, wake me up, play with me. Yeah, and they want my time. Sometimes I take it a bit too personal when they don't want me, and I think it's a very normal thing. Right? As a kid, they usually want the mother more, right? So they will say, I want mommy, right? And they will say, I don't want daddy, I don't want daddy. I mean, I try not to take it personal, right? But there are moments, some days where I feel really down, and because things are not doing well at work, or as much as I want to say like the stock market doesn't affect me, but yeah, let's say the stock market dropped 30%. Again, because I'm so tight with performance, those are the shitty days where when they say like I don't want daddy, I just feel like I'm not loved. So I think only very recently I started to see a different learning how to receive love, even from our kids. Yeah, that actually every morning they want to spend time with me. Yeah, I'm sleeping, but then they want to barge in the room and they say, I want to wake daddy up, right? And then they will jump on my bed, they will start waking me up, which is very annoying, but I'm enjoying that process, because they just want to spend time with me. They didn't care if the stock market was not doing well yesterday. They didn't care if the business was losing money last month, right? They just want to be in my presence and just want to enjoy time with me.
And based on the stories that we talked about in our childhood, do you think we are living in the vision of our marriage? Do you think that we are breaking those curses or boundaries, or ending certain things that we see in our own childhood or our parents' relationship would end like with us.
Yeah. I think by God's grace, we are on track, but we're not there yet. There are still things that we are, and I think it's a never-ending journey. Of course, we'll never be perfect. But I feel like God is reprioritizing our values.
As we are speaking now.
Yeah, what's important to us, what's important to me, what's important to you. Like you were just talking about how your parents are always working, and that's the same for me, right? Like both my parents never really there. Ever since I was young, because they have to work. And again, nothing wrong, right? If you have to work, you have to work.
Yes.
But even when they come back, they are usually like very tired, and I don't really recall like have spending really good quality time with them, because their marriage also. And I think that's the other thing, is that because their marriage itself, right, is also breaking apart.
Yeah.
So they don't even look forward to coming home, because when they come home, just a small. It's like everyone's walking on eggshells, right? Like my dad can come back bad day at work, right? His face will be super smelly, right? Super black face. So my mom have to walk around eggshells. So my mom also don't enjoy coming back home. Right, same for my dad. They don't enjoy coming. Like something happened, just a small little thing, they will start blowing up. They'll start quarreling, and so normally people enjoy being at home, right? So there's also not much quality time. Yeah, I think there's also something else that if you are working, you have to, and you're out in office, but when you come back, like another thing that a friend of mine told me is that he will never let his kids see him tired, no matter how hard he worked, because he's a very successful businessman, right? And unlike us, we have planned our business and our lifestyle in a way that doesn't take us away from our kids. But that's our own personal decision, right? We decided to do our business in a way that would allow us to be there for our kids, allow us to go to any of the kids' rehearsal or school stuff that's going on, excursion, pick up the kids every day at 5, because that means we can end early, right? Because we run our own business, and that means we have to say no to certain business model. Like there were times that I even thought to myself, we should come back to office culture, right? Because we have been running a remote company, and they are good and bad to remote. Productivity definitely not as good, right? But the good thing is that we have that flexibility. And the question is that if I want to grow bigger, 10 times bigger, I want us to grow another 10 times, right? We definitely need office culture, right? Can we do that in remote? It's possible, but harder. But then the question will come in again: is it worth it? Is it worth it to grow the business to 10 times? To a multi 8-figure, but we lose that time with our kids, then maybe I'll start asking myself, maybe it's not so worth it. So I think those are the things that God is working in us and reprioritizing us. But I was saying about my friend, right? So my friend was saying that because he runs a really successful business, he's always busy at work, and he reach home late, but he will reach home for that like one last hour with the kid. And the kids grew up really good. I mean, the kids grew up proper people. So I think that his parenting method works. So he said that in that 1 hour, right, that means the kid just need that 1 hour with him, and he will never show how tired he is. So he will psych himself up before he enter the house. Yeah. So even though he has that 1 hour, right? So doesn't mean that you have to be around with the kids all the time, but quality time.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, I don't think I have much quality time with my parents since like primary school days and secondary school days. Yeah. So God is like definitely reprioritizing us. It's working in us what's important. Although there are still some things that we're still working through. Yeah. Like for myself, I'm still working through the performance thing. Yeah, even until now. Yeah. How about yourself? What do you think?
I think sometimes on a day-to-day basis, I don't really see it, because like when you're in the graph, I don't see it. Yeah, but if I were to zoom it out and I start to think about how far we have come, how we even started as a married couple and where we are right now, I definitely see that God is honoring our vision, and we are actually in every new season of our lives, God is actually challenging us in our vision and mission of the marriage. Yeah. I mean, just with recent struggles or challenges that we are going through, about how, especially in our finances, by how we see our finances, because where do we find security? Yeah. Is it really how much money that we have in our bank? Or is it really in the one true God and His supply? Yeah. So we're even breaking boundaries and breaking curses in this area. Yeah. So are we on track? I think I can only say I think God is honoring our vision mission, and we are going through that another phase of our life in this season of our life again. Yeah, to break another curse that God wants to see us break free from.
So I think that's pretty much like for the heavy topics. Maybe let's go into some of the fun questions. So I've been getting a lot of comments about my face glowing. I don't know if y'all can see anything through the camera. I actually don't see it, to be honest. I've been getting a lot of comments. I gotta say, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or put a feather on my cap, but I've been receiving a lot of feedback that my face is glowing.
And no, you don't have oily face.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all can see. Yeah. So the question is like, how do we both keep ourselves looking young? First of all, I don't know why my face is glowing. I think it's just, I think one of the things that happened was that there was a time that I have a lot of acne on my face, all over my cheeks and my forehead. Yeah, my jaw area. So the jaw area, I actually had to go to a doctor. So then I went to a doctor, took some medication. But my forehead and all that, right, was already kind of like glowing, shining, okay. And people ask me what products that I put on my face, right? I don't actually. I only put one thing today. Is like just olive oil for like moisturizer. That's about it. That's the only thing I put. Sometimes I might put some vitamin C. Sometimes if I don't feel like I'm lazy, I feel a bit more hardworking, I might put something else. Yeah, you were saying something?
I think just a disclaimer, not because he uses olive oil and that you should just go and get olive oil to use for your skin, because you also must understand your own skin type. Yeah, if you're already oily, using more olive oil just don't work. Yeah, but I believe that is nothing very much product based.
Yeah, so the story is that there was a time, I think we put out some photo that I had like acne all over my face. And then I tried every product. I really bought every product I could. I even went to a skin doctor, and I couldn't get rid of all the issues in my face. And then there was once I was just putting all this product on my face in the mirror. I was looking in the mirror and then I was like, what am I doing? Right? And then I just prayed a very simple prayer. I told the Lord, I said, look at all these pimples. And if our vision, the mission that you've given us in our marriage is to shine for you, for your glory. This face is not giving you glory. I just told the Lord that. I say, my face is not giving anybody glory. So how about you handle it for me? And I don't care about my face anymore. I don't want to put anything anymore. You just, you deal with it. And it was just that was a very honest prayer. It wasn't like, oh, Father God, that, hallowed be thy name. And, that kind of, it wasn't that kind of prayer. It was just a very simple, very real, in fact, it was a frustrated prayer. And I just told God, you know what, I leave it to you. If you really want me to shine for you, then let me shine. Then I guess that might have been the reason why then from then onwards, it wasn't like an immediate thing. Then I realized the next few years, then my face started to kind of like, shine a bit. In fact, I still don't see it, to be honest. Like every single time I meet someone for lunch or dinner, they say, hey, wow, my face is glowing. I'm like, I'll go to the mirror, right? I'll go to like a toilet and look in the mirror, I'm like, no, I don't see anything. Yeah, so I'm not like being fake humble or whatever. I really don't see it. I don't know if you guys see it. If you guys see it, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, so that is my story. Yeah, just a fun question that came out recently.
Yeah, and we also get questions or like comments talking about how we still look good and we still dress up. I mean, look at the color of my hair, trying to be fancy at my age. I don't know, being a mom.
You're not very old, lah. Okay, but yes, most of the time when we tell people we have 2 kids, right, they would be usually quite shocked.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to talk about this because I remember there was a period of time when after we were married, maybe after kids, I actually stopped dressing up. Maybe I only dress up once every like 2 months or 3 months. What happened there? How do you feel about it?
Well, definitely not very good lah. Like, like before I marry you, you always dress up all the time. Then after that, marry, then have kids, then you don't dress up anymore. I mean, if I can be real, definitely didn't feel good.
Not attractive?
Huh?
Not attractive.
I think sometimes the attractiveness is just it's not just how it looks, but rather the effort put into it.
I see.
Yeah, it's like when dating, we put in. I think it's the same thing, right? Like, would you appreciate me if we were dating and I put in an effort to open doors for you, I'll be a gentleman for you, right? Then after that, I become a very husband. Like, just that stop, flowers stop, the door holding doors stop, right? Not very consistent, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. So I was definitely struggling during that period of time when we had our first. I felt like I have a duty as a mom, that I neglected my duty or my position as a wife. Yeah, that I look run down. I don't know what other words I can use, but I really look run down even when I was out with you on a date, because I'm just so tired with the day-to-day of like the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also running the business,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what changed, but there was just this moment where he said that like, you are no longer dressing up, you no longer look good. I was like, but I'm a mom right now, like how do you want me to do that? I don't have time. But actually that's not true. It's not true that I don't have time. He said that like, I've already given you all these resources.
Yeah.
Like we have helper at home. It's not that we don't have help, okay? We have helper at home. I have my mom as well. But I don't know why am I like just so buried into the duty of a mom that I forgot about myself, or I choose to not upkeep myself. And our pastor did talk about how we should all upkeep ourselves. Yeah, no matter what. Because I think not to just say that, okay, you should upkeep yourself to look attractive. But it's also, the root of it is that do I believe that the Lord has already given me resources, time, and the ability or the blessings in the first place to even take that little time out to just spend with myself
Yeah.
and with him and to look good.
Yeah.
And yeah, why? You look like you've got something to say.
No, I just wanted to maybe add some context, right? That in our marriage, I think the last episode we did talk about transparency. So because of that open transparency, right? If Zoe doesn't look very good, I'm just gonna tell her she doesn't look very good.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do my best to do it tactfully.
Yeah. I mean, there are
If she put on weight, I'm going to tell her she put on weight. I think it's the same thing I would expect when I was training my body and, body doing, let's say I'm putting too much fats on my tummy, right? I would expect her to just call me out and say, hey, putting too much fat, or I'm not training harder, I don't look as good, or whatever lah. I think just the context there may not be for every relationship, but that's how we roll here. And then the other thing is that I definitely get the whole idea. I definitely get the whole part where when you're a new mother, there's a lot going on, right? And there's a lot of demand, and that you don't have to feel guilty or condemned that for a period of time you're not taking care of yourself, right? But our context is very different. For me, is that I love Zoe. I love her so much that I enjoy quality time with her, and I always want us to put our marriage first. And because of that, right, I'm willing to throw resources, money, that's why we got helper, right? That's why now we have 2 kids, we got like 2 helper, because it's gonna cost more. What I'm gonna get back my wife is worth more than what we're paying for just an additional helper. Yeah. So I think just some context there, that of course, you trust the God in whatever resources that you have, but for us, I felt that we were very, very blessed. We have help. Mother-in-law is helping us. We have 2 helper. So then, you don't actually have to wear yourself down for the kid. And that you are important, and that you need to take care of yourself. You need to, you need to feel good about yourself.
Yes.
I don't think any lady actually feel good about himself, by not dressing up. I think sometimes dressing up, not even for me, is dress up for yourself. So you feel more confident about yourself. You feel like you're not just in the words of many mothers, you're just a cow slaving at home for their kids. I mean, that doesn't sound very inspiring, right?
I think I just want to say that like to look good, not in terms of the world's standard or the social media standard of like looking good. Take time to, if you have like some extra eyebrows, small hairs that are popping out, and then you're not upkeeping them, like to make them neat. If you have preferred to be that way, so be it. I'm just saying, for example, that if you're not like upkeeping and like you say, just making myself or yourself feel good again in your own skin, I feel like that is going to lead to, I feel like that actually does lead to a certain part of marriage, affects the marriage. Because I mean, when he first told me that I look terrible, I
didn't use the exact word terrible. Like.
really didn't like, that's how I felt.
See,
I felt
that's women, right? They like to use different words.
he just
Make it worse than it is.
he just said that, do you want to dress up a little? But to me, it's
Yeah.
like, you look terrible. But I think at that moment I actually felt insecure, because I know I haven't been looking my best, not in terms of like beautiful and pretty in social media standard, but I have not been upkeeping myself to make myself feel that I am actually also important. Yeah. And that everything else is important, I'm not important. And that actually became a narrative for my own mind. That my mind started playing tricks with myself that I am not important. It was just from that, like, you need to dress up. Do you want to dress up for a bit? And that led to my own narrative of like, I'm not important, nobody thinks I'm important at home. Why? Even though I have resources, okay, I have my mom, I have my helper to help.
Why do you think so?
Why do I think so?
Yeah. As in, why do you think that happened?
You mean the
What is
narrative?
that? Yeah, what's the narrative? What's the thought pattern here that led you to that?
I think also my own insecurity, that I feel like I need to look beautiful to be loved. So when you ask me, do I want to dress up? Then I feel like, oh, is it because I don't dress up, you don't love me anymore? Then that will make me think that like, I'm not important. I'm only important when I look good. Yeah.
So in a way, performance based.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. So I guess there's like a certain level of insecurity that I carry with me from probably when I was young. But I mean, in the recent years, I have also learned that from Proverbs 31, right? This is something that I hold on very much, because again, going back to the first thing that we talk about about social media, I know that I could never compete with a lot of females out there, influencers who really look good, who has the figure,
It's got a good genetics.
whatever, yeah, everything is good, right? And
They just won the genetics lottery.
correct. Then I'm like, then what do I depend on to like keep my husband? In a way, that's what I ask myself. Like, I have to look good, but looking good I can never compare. So what else? And then I guess Proverbs 31 really is something that I hold on to anytime I feel insecure about my own looks, is that beauty is fleeting, charm is deceptive, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Yeah. So that I'll always remind myself that even I can be the most beautiful woman on the world, but that would not really mean anything or translate. Doesn't mean that I don't look good, but I do not depend on that. But I also make sure that I am being planted and knowing God.
Yep.
Yeah. And which is what you say, right? Sometimes it's loving is beyond just looks. Yeah. And now I'm going to believe that when I am in the Lord, I have secured something that is just beyond the facade of how I look. Yeah. Yeah. But we also we do make an effort to dress up for each other, because we want because we go on the weekly dates and we want to just relive the moment of how we were before we got kids, before we were married. Like, we will always dress up for each other because we go to club. We go to club a lot. And going to club means I'm always with like my va-va-voom hair, with my thick makeup, my red lipsticks, right? And wearing heels and sexy dresses. And he often cannot get his hand off me because I look really good. But now it's just, we want to relive that moment that we look for each other and we feel attracted again. I feel like that's actually one of the secret to us enjoying the marriage. Yeah. That we are no longer I don't just get myself buried in the things of the children and home, but also investing in the relationship in this way.
I think one of the things that we have established is that we were not going to allow kids to be an excuse, not be able to live our life, live the life that we enjoy. Yeah, like we still go travel on ourselves. I think recently we went to also a festival again, right? Just like that takes some time off, lah, right? Like, and then people hear that, like, oh, your parents really, but you still go for festivals. Like, like sometimes this is some of the things that we enjoyed doing when before we got married. And I think it's just, we just want to find time for it. Yeah.
I guess that goes back to our vision and mission as in our marriage, that we just want to break boundaries, that who says after kids, me as a mom have to look a certain way, right, in terms of appearance, and who says that after marriage and after kids,
then you become boring.
Correct. And we cannot do things that we used to do. Yeah. So sometimes when he says like, oh, but we have kids now, how do we travel? Right? How do we go and enjoy ourselves? I was like, let's just find a way. Let's not talk about like, don't go and being trapped because we have kids. But like, how can we work around it? What can we arrange? What can we do?
Yeah.
How do we really feel? Is it because we feel guilty leaving them? Yeah, but what if we have time with them as well? Yeah. And I think we're also very blessed because my mom is around and she lives with us some of the days of the week. And my sister, she is not married, so she have her own business. Yeah, so she's not bound by time and she's readily available to come and accompany the kids when we are not around holidays. Yeah. So these are the things that we are doing to make sure that we don't fall into that, oh, how do we do it if we are already married and all that. We didn't want to let that as excuse.
I wanted to just maybe add one more part about what you just said, because some people might think that, oh, because we have help, because you have your mother-in-law helping and your sister-in-law, that's why we can have this kind of relationship. But I think it's more of like we really prayed for it. More like we really prayed for it. Even when we didn't have the resources, we trusted God that He will provide us the resources, right, to even get a second helper. And there was even a time that we wanted to bring the whole family, because we're like, oh, we want to travel, but we also want to bring the kids. But it's going to be a huge amount. Then we just like trust God in faith, right, that we just booked the trip first and trust God to sponsor us for that. And in the end, He did. There's another story for another time. But that you can actually trust God, trust God for the resources if you're a believer, like we did. Yeah.
When you're talking about that, it just reminded me, it just got me thinking that it's sometimes not whether we have the resources to do a certain thing, but it's our mindset. If we always think that, oh, because we don't have that, therefore we don't even think about doing it, or maybe it's the social norm that we grew up with our parents, and that we do not entertain that thought or that possibility of, hey, what if we can do this? Then we will never find a way. You know how like in business, we always tell our team to be resourceful. Yeah, don't be limited by no resources, but be resourceful and think of other ways that we can do it. So I guess this conversation is to probably encourage you guys, if you are listening to this, that what are the things that you guys really want to do together as a couple? And were there any limiting beliefs that stops you from enjoying life together? I think this is a topic that we have in our season of life. How do we learn to enjoy things that are already given to us and the resources that we have to make use of it, rather than living day to day, just like slaving through and just getting by?
Awesome. I think we're right on time. So I think that's pretty much that's it for this episode. We will be taking any questions and we'll probably do another one. I think there's some follow-up questions and stories. But I think at the end of the day, I feel like why we are doing this is still, we're just talking. I think even through this talking, right, I'm actually learning a lot in our relationship. And we're just walking this journey, and we've been getting a lot of feedback from people that to share our relationship, to share how we think, because how we are already married with 2 kids, but we are still enjoying life. We are still living like we are very free and still run a business together. So I think we're just sharing our journey. I don't know if like maybe 10 of you watch it. That's already good for us. But I think more importantly, I'm also learning from this conversation. Yeah. So if you have any questions that you want us to answer in the next episode, depending on when we have time to do this again, just drop that in the comment section and we'll get to it.
I think I would also like to say that whether views or not, I feel like at this moment, it doesn't really matter to me, Because another thing that I think about is that all this that we have talked about and saved down in videos, it will be for our children in the future, to let them see like, actually how daddy mommy thinks when they go through a certain season, how have they championed through it. It's almost like a record of like testimony.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually make me want to do what we do now.
Yeah. Awesome. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.